On several multiple choice tests, the ones where you fill in the bubbles, or if you're like me, you Christmas tree it, many of them say to only write with a number 2 pencil. But are there any other kinds of pencils, such as a number 1 or a number 3? Short answer, yes. In this video, I'll explain the different kinds of pencil ratings and how they're used respectively. In the United States, we're used to good old number 2 pencil being the universal one. It's the most common one used in our school system because they are excellent for writing and drawing with their medium firmness. There are a total of 5 different kind of pencils that are graded using the American scale. Number 1, 2, 2.5, 3, and 4. I'll get back to why it's called 2.5 instead of being a whole number later when we talk about the HB scale. The numbers go on from most dark to least dark, with number 1 being the darkest and number 4 being the lightest. Number 1 pencils have a softer lead and are usually mostly for sketches and sometimes writing, depending on preference. As I said earlier, number 2, and to some extent number 2.5 pencils, are used mostly in schools and are the midpoint for every scale. Number 3 and 4 pencils are used by architects and mathematicians because the lines are easier to erase. These pencils are harder and create lighter images. In other parts of the world, especially Europe and Japan, they use the HB scale, or hardness and blackness scale. In America, we have 5 different pencils, but in those regions, they have 20 different kinds: HB, F, B through 9B, and H through 9H. An HB pencil is equivalent to a number 2 pencil in America. Going back to what I was saying earlier about 2.5 pencils, on the HB scale, they're called F pencils, standing for fineness, because they originally had a finer point than standard pencils. Today, all pencils have the same relative fineness, so this pencil is just kind of an oddball at this point. From the middle HB, it goes either towards 9B pencils, the darkest and softest, or 9H pencils, the hardest and lightest. 9B through 4B are used almost exclusively for artistic purposes, such as shading, and offer the darkest shade. 3B through B, number 1 in America, are again used for drawing. HB and F are used in schools, number 2 and 2.5. H and 2H, number 3 and 4 respectively, are again used for mostly technical drawings. 3H through 5H are used for even more detailed technical drawings. Finally, 6H through 9H are used for things such as lithography, an early form of printing where you first draw an image on limestone, cartography, or map making, and xylography, or woodcutting. Today, many sketch artists use all 20 different kinds of pencils, creating different shading by having an assortment of colors. It's also important to note that there isn't a universal system that companies have to follow. The different shades of pencils vary from company to company, even if they're all on the HB scale. For example, in Japan, they like their pencils softer than in Europe, so an HB pencil might be a B or 2B in Europe. Just as an odd bit of info, in Russia, they have their own system for pencil grading, TM, but it's not really well known enough, and I honestly don't feel like talking about it, so we're just going to skip it. So in conclusion, the number 1 pencil is a slightly softer and darker pencil that teachers hate you using on Scantrons because they can't detect it. If you wanted to pick up a set of 20, it's going to cost you around $50 if you're looking for good artist quality. As for me, I personally use mechanical pencils, which are a whole different can of worms. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.